We've got, globally, there is an increasing amount of plastic being produced. It's about 300 million tonnes a year, of half of which ends up being thrown away. So 8 million tonnes of plastic ends up in the sea every year. When you look at some of the products and the lifetime that it takes to biodegrade, a plastic bottle will take about 450 years. When you do the maths on that, it's about 3,200 million tonnes of plastic before you start taking into account biodegradation.
And Gibraltar can do his little bits by trying to reduce that.
Well, of course, this is globally. Those figures are global figures, but it affects Gibraltar, it affects our coastline, and we also contribute to that. Recycling is part of the answer, but there is also our lifestyle habits. When we go shopping, the bags that we use, all these things affect our marine environment.
How exactly, how harmful is plastic to the marine environment?
Okay, so take a plastic bag. Typically, a plastic bag from any shop will biodegrade within, depending on the plastic bag, 20 to 60 years. Now, they look like jellyfish. A lot of turtles eat them. Everyone knows and has heard of these examples. A turtle can't survive once it's ingested the plastic bag. It ends up suffocating or starving. The turtle dies, a shark comes along and eats the turtle, and the shark dies because the shark ends up ingesting some plastic, or certainly running the risk of ingesting plastic. The shark dies, that sinks to the bottom, starfish and all types of other organisms eat the shark, and they have the same problem. Now this continues for the lifespan of the plastic bag. So if it's 60 years, you've got 60 years worth of death going on. It's a bit like the fishing nets when they get discarded. You know, they continue to fish even though they're no longer being manned by anybody.
And of course, as part of that cycle that you've described, fish will eventually also get eaten by humans.
Exactly. So what you end up with the microbeads, with a lot of the exfoliating creams that we use. You wash your face, you exfoliate your face, and you wash those beads down the plug hole. They end up in the sea, and planktonic fish end up eating those tiny beads. Of course, there's always a bigger fish, the fish gets preyed on, and eventually that fish cycle breaks when we catch the fish and we serve it up. So those microbeads that we're washing our face with end up in our stomachs, and obviously there are lots of health consequences for that.
Well, as you know, there was a similar initiative some years back when the previous government was in office, by the ESG and by the GONHS and other groups, and that ultimately came to nothing. What makes you think that things might be different this time around?
Well, it's a different government for a start. I had a tweet from a government minister letting us know that they're looking into what can be done. So I'm hopeful that that's going to lead on to a successful campaign on this.
And you're aiming for 500 signatures on this online petition. When I came down, it was, I think, at 479. Why 500? Is that a magic figure for some reason?
It's not, but we felt that it was a sizable amount of people to be able to make the case that it's important to enough of the community.
Well, you're calling on the government to introduce a ban, which of course would be a legal measure to stop the use of plastic bags in Gibraltar, but I suppose that each one of us can do his or her little bit by simply deciding not to use them.
Well, correct. I mean, this is absolutely right, Stephen. It doesn't have to be a ban. But the reason why is that we all tend to get a bit lazy. We all just change our habits, knowing what the danger is. There's no need for legislation at all. But really, what happens, people sometimes become a little bit disconnected between what the reality of their actions is from the damage that it does. And so the ban would help, because in a lot of countries, for example, in the UK, microbeads are actually being banned by December 2017. No products with microbeads will be allowed to be sold. Canada are following suit in January 2018. With plastic bags, France, Morocco, and the USA, California are in the process of banning or have banned plastic bags already. So this is something globally that is starting to gather momentum. Either we can have it thrust upon us, or we can be a leader in it. I know which one I think is better.